What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, talking today about Fallout 76, the eternal dumpster fire. This is easily one of the worst sequels I've ever seen, and also a project that just never seems to improve, despite the fact the developers are just constantly working on it. Now, this video is going to be a little bit conflicted, because while I don't exactly love this new update, I can tell they're trying. And the best part about Fallout 76, coming back to this game, I was surprised by one extremely positive aspect of this that I want to begin this video with it. The community of Fallout 76. The players who are still just kind of logging in every single day, doing daily quests, trying to explore the wasteland. These people are fantastic. If you're somebody who somehow gets this game completely for free and you're curious if it'll be accessible, it is. But not because of Bethesda or the people trying to write these quest lines. In fact, the thing that makes this game still kind of fun, despite its incredibly obvious flaws, is the people who play it. Literally the first minute when I logged in to try and work on this video, I was immediately being approached by characters that were level 100 in full awesome suits of armor, and they just started dropping recipes to try and help me out, and even asking me if I needed any advice. I think that's really cool. But now that we've gotten past the positives, which don't actually involve the developers, let's talk about the negatives. The thing about this that is just so freaking dumb. So, obviously, the primary problem with Fallout 76 back in the day was that it didn't have NPCs. There was no anything. I mean, the only thing you did in this game was pretty much explore the wasteland, wander around, look at stuff, and it was just kind of so boring because there's no motivation. There's nothing in here that feels lifelike, alive, or even substantial. It's so bad. Now, it may sound like a tiny thing because you think, okay, well, you'll just pick up your quest from these robots that are all over the place, but it really begins to drag you out. Why should you care about saving the wasteland if nobody's here to even really see it? This brings us to the primary focus of the Wastelanders update. This has just been released, and for the most part, it's definitely a big improvement. I mean, over the original version of Fallout 76, this is practically an entirely new game, because storyline-wise, this takes place a full year after the initial opening of the Vault 76, and now that our players are out here and exploring the lands, now, all of a sudden, non-playable characters, NPCs, are here. We actually have random characters. There are humans again, and it breathes so much life into this universe. No longer do you just feel like you're walking around with scorched husks everywhere. You get to see people and talk to people, and if you manage to rescue somebody in a mission, well, you can really see them thank you for it. I love the fact that this update really manages to make this feel a little bit more like Fallout. It still just doesn't quite connect though. In this, we're getting several new factions. They've overhauled certain territories like the crater and stuff to try and make it where these are now cities that have people, population, things like towns, stores. To go along with this, all the players that are coming back aren't just standing around. They have a general purpose. There's a new, complete main story quest line about treasure. Apparently all these humans are risking coming back to the Appalachia because they think that it'll be cool to try and find this huge hidden hoard of something. Nobody knows if it's treasure or gold or a million bottle caps or maybe a super laser. Everybody's just coming here trying to find this mysterious hoard though, and it's kind of cool to see all the different trails of it. There's different factions, there's different territories, there's different people trying to vie for control. And it kind of makes sense. I mean, the biggest problem with this is that it kind of makes me realize that the original Fallout 76 was so drastically incomplete. The fact that they didn't release this game with actual quest lines in this style originally just shows how rushed it is. Now, as much as I kind of enjoy these new storylines, and some of them are really well written, it's still really hard to care because the package that this game is inside of is still just so limited. Fallout 76 76 has some hot garbage graphics. There is still some just constant glitches with lighting effects, everything being too dark and then too bright, things falling through the ground, and then worst of all, it still has some extremely basic AI. I mean, these are human enemies that are here to try and kill you, and yet they crouch in the middle of an empty room sometimes and just wait for you to shoot them in the head. This is so freaking simple. I mean, they don't even really care. It seems like they tried to rush this, or that the entire development team was maybe 5 people, because it's very difficult to try and actually believe that this was made by a AAA studio. The real core issue that seems to be just practically unfixable is the fact that this game, it has an identity crisis, which really comes down to one main thing. You see, in this, we're supposed to care about the universe. We're supposed to think that this land needs saving, that we, as the survivors of Vault 76, we're able to come out here and try and rescue people, help people out, find some treasure ourselves, and of course, slay a bunch of different monsters. But the controls are just still so bad. I mean, just the general aiming and stuff, even though they've managed to tweak and improve it over the course of this last year and a half, it still feels like molasses. I can't really care about getting a headshot or scooping up some new loot because everything in this game is just so clunky and crappy. I mean, another issue is definitely the fact that the main reason they tried to sell Fallout 76 is, hey, this is going to be a brand new Fallout game, but with multiplayer. Except that this ends up being a drawback in certain aspects. These new storylines are incredibly serious, oftentimes dealing with people who are coming back to this land and sometimes dying a terrible death because of it. And yet, if I'm trying to do something like here, I found this huge part, this is part of the main story here, but not really a spoiler. I'm supposed to be investigating this corpse site, and I'm trying to find out what happened to these survivors and to see if I could possibly give them some peace or vengeance. But while I was trying to just creep around and search for clues, another dude decides to stomp up in a mech suit and just walk all over the bodies. Any emotional connection I could have here, or anything that could make me feel connected to this plotline, is irrevocably ruined when I realize, oh yeah, this is just a cheesy MMO and none of this matters. Anytime I'm trying to do any quest in the open world, it's typically being overrun by other players just headshotting all these zombies for 10 million damage. I think that Fallout 76 has a lot of potential, and they're certainly still working on it. I don't want to say that this update is all bad. In fact, I want to go so far as to say, if you already own Fallout 76, if you possibly got it by accident or somebody gave it to you for Christmas as a gag gift, maybe try logging in. I mean, at this point, you have nothing to lose. This is a completely free update that is just inside the game itself. You don't need to pay anything extra. It's not downloadable content. It's just here and experienceable for absolutely no cost. So obviously this video is more negative than positive, but I can definitely tell that people are at least attempting to fix this huge mess of a game. I still don't think that it should even exist. I mean, if I'm just being brutally honest, I think that a Fallout 5 would have been much better than whatever the heck this multiplayer sandbox thing is trying to be. And even as it manages to grow and evolve and get some big updates and patches to try and improve the streamlining, it still just doesn't really connect. It's quite likely that I'll never get over my overwhelming disappointment for this title. I mean, when they were first revealing Fallout 76, they were saying that this was going to be the biggest Bethesda project ever, something that would have a map 4 times the size of any other Fallout. It seemed like the ideas, the progression of it, there were so many plans for this that seemed so expansive and so enamoring, and none of them turned out to be real. It's one of those things where, at this point, I have zero interest of logging in or trying to care about this universe, because what's the point? There's nothing within this sandbox that truly matters, and that to me is the greatest sin of all for Fallout 76. I guess we'll see what this game turns into, but I'm probably never coming back. As I finish this video, I'm going to delete my copy of it off my hard drive, and I'm probably not coming back. I'm going to go play The Outer Worlds and a single-player game with some actual writing, some actual jokes, and some real stuff that makes me care about the world again. Thanks so much for watching, gamers. If you enjoyed this video, please tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. Tell me what you love or hate about Fallout 76. Did you get ripped off when you bought it originally, or are you still in the Wasteland trying to collect all those bottle caps? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below, and of course, do me a giant favor, like this video and keep dreaming. Alright. Oh god, I really do want to go play some Outer Worlds now. Bring it to Switch. I can't wait for the Switch release date. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.